Okay, here are some examples, and you can try these. This is the graph paper, and I think it's on my classroom site, so you can find grids like this. They're 6x6 grids, and I think there's 9 of them, 9 grids on a page, so you can use these to practice if you like, save you a little bit of time. So here's an example. This is what we use for kind of little quizzes in class, so this will give you an idea of where you can put your work and how easy it is. So first of all, y equals, and I just use the vertical axis identification right here just to work into my equation. So y equals the absolute value of x plus 2 plus 1. So remember, this is the horizontal shift. So my horizontal shift is going to be opposite sign. So the opposite sign of plus 2 is minus 2, so my horizontal shift will be negative 2. And I guess I can write that down here, I guess. Negative 2 is the horizontal shift, and the vertical shift is the same sign, and that's 1. So there's your horizontal shift, opposite sign, negative 2, and there's your vertical shift, same sign. So we can write it, horizontal shift, vertical shift if you want. And this is actually my new 0, so I'm going to use this for the 0. Negative 2, 1. So that's basically the shift, so my absolute value is going to be shifted to the left and up 1. Put a little dot there, and that's my new 0. And then I use what I call the shape equation. The shape equation is the function without the shift. So I take out the 2 and the 1, and all I have left is y equals the absolute value of x. And I can make a table of values. I can do it over here. There's room. So it's just going to be, so my shape equation is just y equals the absolute value of x, and that's going to be basically the shape of my graph. So I'll use my basic numbers, negative 1, 0, 1, and the absolute value of negative 1 is 1, 0, and 1, and these are the points I put in. Now this represents a horizontal move of negative 1 and a vertical move of 1 from my new 0. So I'm going to move 1, negative 1, which is 1 to the left, and up 1. I'll put a point there, and these are key points. We need to see these points. And then 0, 0 is the new 0, and then positive 1, so that's 1 to the right and up 1. And there you go. And then you're just ready to use your straight edge. I just use a back of a little card here, and then you just connect those. That's going to be your graph. It's pretty easy. Like that. And so try to use a straight edge. Then you could just use your school ID card. This is actually the back of my staff ID card. I won't show you the front, but that's what it is. And there you go. That's all you have to do. Okay, so over here, the next one, this is y equals the absolute value of x plus 3 plus 4. So again, my horizontal shift is opposite sign, so it's going to be negative 3. So I can just write this down over here, negative 3. That's my horizontal shift. And my vertical shift, same sign, is going to be 4. And this actual point represents my new 0. That's going to be negative 3, 4. So I go negative 1, 2, 3, and up 4. And there's my new 0. Now my shape equation, and I guess I can write this up here, I guess. My shape equation is going to be everything without the shift, so I take out the horizontal and vertical shifts, and I have just this negative absolute value of x. So y equals negative absolute value of x, and that's what I use for my table of values, x and y, and I can use the same key points, negative 1, 0, and 1. And when x is negative 1, the absolute value of negative 1 is positive 1, but a negative times a positive 1 would be negative, so it's just negative 1. 0, absolute value of 0 is 0, and absolute value of 1 is 1, times the negative is the negative 1. So that's what I've got. Now this actually works out for you the vertical flip or symmetry to the horizontal axis, the x-axis. All right, and then we put our points in. So now this represents 1 to the left, it's negative, and 1 down. So I go from my 0, 1 to the left, and down 1. Then this is 0, 0, and this is a positive 1, so this represents 1 to the right from my new 0 and down 1. And there you go. And then you just connect those points, and you've got your nice graph. Put little arrows here because these go on. And this will go a little bit farther. Now here the slope is, again, negative 1, so make sure I line this up right so I get these things. Oops. Something like this, that might be better. There we go. And this is what we have, so it keeps going down because we got a little bit more room here. And that's what you've got. Now we could talk about domain and range. The domain will be all real numbers because they're going left to right forever, but the range is just going to be from where I start with my value, so my range would actually be the interval going from 1, including 1, up to infinity. So that's your range. Your domain is all real numbers, so negative infinity to positive infinity. And then over here, the domain again, this is a negative infinity to positive infinity. But the range is going from negative infinity up to and including 4. So there you can see that. Okay. So there's a couple, we'll do a couple more next video.